Hello, good morning, and welcome to a rather frosty Sunday morning ride here in Tokyo. It's getting off at 8 o'clock now. I left home about 7:15. I'm heading up the river to see if I can find a very specific thing which I read about last week, something in the river that sounded very interesting, that I had no idea existed. So I am going up the river. It's about 20k to this location, see if I can find it. So why don't you come with me? Here we go. We're getting closer. I checked all this on of course I did some research on Google because the location was not very specific, but I had an idea where it was, so I went on Google Maps and on satellite and little cross-referencing with the story, and I think I've pinpointed it to the actual location because it's quite a small location where I'm hoping to see these items. I'll tell you about them when we get there. This is it. This is where I want to be, here. I want to have a look down here. We're going to have to go down here. Oh, I'm not the first. Ooh. Wow, this is it. And this is what we came to look at. So what these are ceramic hand grenades. These are made in the summer of like 1944, and in Japan the war, was not going so well, and raw materials were running out. There was no steel, there was no iron. They were all being used for tanks and ships, and so they had to use what other materials they had, and that was ceramic. And by the end of the war they decided just to dump them here in the river, and the factory was just here where there is now a high school. Most of these, actually, they're all broken. I think, the ones that are in good condition have been kind of taken. I was hoping to find like a complete one, but probably very difficult. I might get a few little bits and pieces.
So, as far as I can work out, this is the story. In the final stages of the war, due to a shortage of metals, ceramics from various regions in Japan, such as Shigaraki, Mino, Seto, and Arita, were used as substitutes for metal and were used in the production of weapons like grenades and landmines. But compared to iron grenades, the explosive power of these ceramic substitutes was apparently significantly weaker. There was a large munitions factory run by a company called Asano Carlite, which was located adjacent to the river during the war. The plant began manufacturing ceramic weapons around the summer of 1944, with local residents and students mobilized for the work. At the end of the war, there were about 500 tons of ceramic grenades at the factory. When the factory was closed, immediately after the war, a lot of the grenades were disposed of in the river after the explosives were removed. The company had them dumped and hidden in the river to escape being accused and tried as war criminals.
So there you go, we found it. The ceramic grenades made in Japan at the end of the war. And when the war came to an end, then they just dumped them straight into the river here. And you can only see them at this time of the year because in the winter there's no rain and the river just completely goes down, as you can see. But in a few months' time this will be completely submerged and they will be hidden again until next winter. But yeah, I'm very glad I found it. It's kind of sad in a way, obviously, because this is 80 years ago, the end of the war, and that's what they were reduced to making, you know, pottery grenades. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna head home now.